You've seen the insane sign-up buffs. I haven't actually looked at any of the changes other than the massive Sandrone changes. Where her non-stellar conduct charge attack got a big buff, and her stellar conduct charge attack got a 2% buff. I heard that Yai got a buff, but I haven't seen what it is yet. Someone tweeted about it. I see that. Yeah, so I saw this one, the 2% increase to Sandrone charge attack. That's cool. Okay, so let's run these down. Okay, this is a better summary. Is it? But yeah, so they buffed the thing you will never use, which is the charge or Sandrone's charge attacks if you're not triggering stellar conduct. But like, it's still really dog shit, so it doesn't matter. They gave like a, I mean, it's 2.12 motion value, but it's less than a 2% damage increase because obviously it's above 100 to begin with. It's like 1.5% or something. It's okay. I don't really understand this change. Like, this isn't really a meaningful change, so whatever. The passive, no, that's not from V2. V2 changed the cap, but it didn't change how quick you gain stacks. Unless I just missed it. But what I saw in V2 was just that they increased the cap to 100. They didn't change it so that you would get stacks twice as quickly to go with it. Maybe I just missed it. It did in the CN description. God damn it. Okay, whatever. Sure. Anyways, C2. They nerfed the C2 by a lot? Oh, okay. No? Okay. Is that why you told me this is a better summary? Because he just didn't say the thing properly? No. This is not a better summary, huh? It's motion value now? But is it motion value or quills? Dude, okay, what the fuck even is it right now? V2 Sandrone on CN was 120. Oh, I see. So V2 Sandrone got buffs on the C2 that I didn't know about. Okay. That explains it. Okay. Well, quill buffs are kind of dog shit on these sorts of characters generally, so I wouldn't be surprised if this turned out to be a buff. Always check the CN stuff. Well, this might come as a surprise, but I can't actually read Chinese. I know, crazy. So it's a bit difficult for me to do that. I'll try, but it's a bit difficult. That's a you problem? Yeah, it is my fault. I never claimed it wasn't. It is my fault. You're right. But yeah, so it went from like 120 building up to 300. 300 is a lot, I guess. I'm gonna sneeze. I mean, what's better? 300 quill or like 100 crit damage? Probably just 100 crit damage, right? Yeah, C1 kind of like doesn't do anything, right? Because they like kind of forgot to make the overheat mechanic matter. So allowing you to bypassing the overheat mechanic doesn't really do anything. Yeah, like 30 stellar damage is fine, but like you have to understand, Yai's C1 gives more than that, and that's a support con. It's a free support con too. No. Okay, so C1 is competing with R1 too, and R1 is so much better. Yeah. Okay. C2 on Cyro got buffed by a teeny tiny little bit. Right, it's 80 instead of 50 now, which is nice for Sandrone when you're using support Cyro, I guess. And that's it. Got it. That is not it. Alright, Risley above the C6, who cares, okay. Yai, okay. They buffed Yai. And they buffed the C1 and the C6. So the C6 doesn't really matter, but these are pretty nice buffs. Yai was already looking like she was the best option in Stellar Conduct teams. This is just gonna make her even more. Honestly, this is making me wonder if I should really go for Sandrone. Because I don't want to pull Yai. And if they intend on having Yai be the, like, actual off-fielder for Stellar Conduct, and on making the future 5-star supports, like Shredders or Cryo units, then I don't want to go for Sandrone. Because I don't want to pull for Yai. Doesn't Stellar Conduct still have 2 empty spots if you count Sandrone and Yai as core? Yeah, but not really. Like, would you say that if Flynn's team has an empty slot right now? Like, you could say that it does, but also, like, it's not like Sucrose is bad. Like, sure, it doesn't have a limited 5-star dedicated to the reaction that you're using on the team, but the team still very much functions and makes sense. And Sucrose is fulfilling a role for the team that is very impactful. A bit more generic than the other slots, but still very impactful. Sucrose can do the same thing in Stellar teams. Like, just because we have a limited 5-star on 2 of the slots that are, like, synergistic with the team, doesn't necessarily mean, 1, that we will have 2 more, or 2, that whatever we get will be used with the two you're currently using, rather than replacing one of them. I think it would be a lot less likely that Yai would be replaced if she were a new unit. But because she's an old unit, I wouldn't be surprised if they released someone to just power creep her directly. We'll have info on 7.0 characters during our banner anyway. Yeah, but it's possible that the Stellar Conduct support isn't 7.0 and in 7.1 or 7.2. Official wasn't power crept as the Hex or Electro option yet. She wasn't power crept yet. That doesn't mean she won't be. You want to know what I'm actually hoping for deep down, though? I'm hoping there won't be a Stellar Conduct support. I'm hoping the Stellar Conduct support is just going to be Cryo MC, alright? And you have full Yai premium team by just pulling, or full Sandrone premium just by pulling Sandrone and Yai. And it ends up being like Sandrone, Yai, Sucrose, Cryo MC. Yeah, and then maybe Tsaritsa replaces Cryo MC when she comes out. But she would replace Cryo MC in all the Stellar teams. But like, with all of the buffs, right now this team is at what? Like probably almost 140? I think this is the version I had the highest. 150.1. And then Yai. Oh, am I dumb? I am dumb. I was already giving Yai 50% instead of 40% on the Stellar stuff from the E-cast. It's fine. Yeah, now it's at 130 with my assumptions. For a 2-cost team that uses a very old unit, this is pretty good. Oh yeah, C1 is 50% as well now, you're right. You're right. 134. Plus 7k here. Is Yai EEQ worth it now with the buffs? Fuck no. Sandrone Sig or Yai? I think they're pretty similar. But like, if we just assume that like the slot that's meant to be replaced is this one, and is going to be replaced by Tsaritsa eventually in the long term or in the medium term, but in the short term it's going to be Cryo MC, and like Cryo MC is going to be like plus 5 or 10k, and then Tsaritsa is going to be like plus 20 or 30k, then that makes it in line with what's in the meta right now. Yeah, and Yai is doing something for the team that's somewhat similar to like Linnea, where it's a mix of off-field and buffing. She's not quite as good though, but Sandrone is kind of stronger standalone than the Lunar units are. She just has access to worse support options right now. Is Sandrone stronger standalone than Zibai? I'd say she's like somewhat similar, I think. It depends on what you have to go with it though. Not even her premium would be better than Zibai. I mean, yeah, obviously Zibai has a full premium team and Sandrone doesn't. They're asking, is the standalone Sandrone team better than the standalone Zibai team? AKA, how does this team compare to the like Zibai, Goro, Ilua, Aino team? And it's a bit weaker than the Zibai team if you have C6 on all the 4 stars, but it is a lot stronger than if you have C0 on all the 4 stars. But I guess you also need the C6 on Beidou, but Beidou's the only one who matters. Right, Chichikon's don't actually matter. Like, I had her at C2, but like, this is 106.3. If I remove the C2, which is 50% attack and that's it, we're at 105.9. We lose 400 DPS. Less than that. Right, so it really doesn't matter. You're losing a whole Sino's worth of DPS. That's fucked up. You can't say that. You can't say that. That is fucked up. There are more gameplay-related updates. Oh, wait, her Q snapshots? Wait, that's actually massive. Like, fuck the other changes. The Q snapshotting is a big fucking deal. Because that means you can use burst at the end of your field time and still get your EM buffs. Get Bennett in? No. No, it's just, right now, you have to do weird rotations where, like, you go and refresh your buffs sometimes, or you accept that your last charge attack doesn't have buffs because Sandrone's field time is just too long for the buffs that you want to use. But if her burst snapshots, you can do all your charge attacks first and then finish with the burst, and as long as your buffs are still active when you press the burst button, then you still have your buffs for the burst damage. And you might also be able to go refresh VV during burst travel time before the stellar hit. I don't know if that's gonna be a thing, but it might be. That's pretty big. Sucrose upscale. I'd say it's not really a Sucrose upscale because right now the Sucrose teams just do 2 swaps anyways. And because VV duration is kind of cooked, I don't think even with this change you would want to stay on Sandrone for the full field time. I think you still swap out to refresh VV even with these changes. So it shouldn't change anything. But it will be a buff to to everyone except the Sucrose teams basically, right? Beto has some problems with uptime. Diona can have problems with uptime. Chi-Chi can have problems with uptime. And this is going to solve a lot of those. Why are you not pulling Sandrone anymore? Because of the Yai buffs. I don't want to pull for Yai. And I don't want a unit that barely functions. So if their plan is to have Sandrone's like dedicated stellar support be Yai and not a new unit, then I'm not going to go for her. Will make you change your mind on playing for Sandrone? I mean, will maybe 7.0 leaks? Is EM subs that good for Sandrone? It's as good for her as it is for Flynn's. Like, her kit basically just is exactly the same as Flynn's kit, but with Cryo and Electro instead of Electro and Hydro. In terms of, like, the stats they want. Technically, she cares a little bit less about ER than he does, right? Like, with Flynn's, if you don't have enough ER, you're cooked. With her, you just lose the burst every few rotations and it's not the end of the world. Cryo or Attack Goblet? Attack Goblet. Cryo Goblet is very bad. Well, I say very bad. I don't actually know how bad it is. I assume it's complete dog shit, because her motion value is pretty fucking awful on the Cryo, but how bad is it really? Alright, 98.9k personal damage. 90.8, so we lose 8k DPS from going from attack to Cryo. And from going to from Cryo to defense, we lose an additional 2k. No, it's 3k, sorry. The gap between Cryo and attack is over twice as big as the gap between defense and Cryo for the main stats. Cryo is really bad. It's really, really bad. I'm actually curious. Is EM better than Cryo? It might be. We do have a lot of external EM in this team, so maybe not, though. No, it is. Oh, it's way better. My god. EM is surprisingly close to attack here, huh? I guess it's because this is a team that has a lot of attack, right? Because we have Tidal Shadow, we have TTDS every rotation, we have TOM, we have Noblesse. Right, we can take a look at the Nicole Escoffier version, or Chi-Chi Escoffier version. Like the Chi-Chi Escoffier version, if we go EM instead of attack, it's 5k worse. It's just not great, honestly. The Nicole Escoffier version, if we go EM instead of attack, is 1.5k worse, which is almost as good. This is still an EM, right? Do we go attack crit or EM attack crit? That's what we're talking about right now. Attack crit seems to be better on Sandrone for every team that I've looked at, but the teams that have a lot of extra attack, EM is not that far behind. How good is Sandrone's SIG compared to Yai and her C1? I actually don't know now. Did they change the SIG? It was part of the change log, but maybe the change log was just nothing. Yeah, it was nothing. Okay. Wait, no, it was something? No, it was nothing. I lied. Okay. It's just the way that we gain the stacks is slightly different. But, so, R1. Wow. I am kind of surprised. It seems as though SIG is better than Yai for Sandrone. I didn't expect that, actually. I thought it would be slightly worse with the Yai buffs. By a lot? No, not by a lot. This is Yai C1. This is SIG with Beto instead. Yeah, I guess Tidal Shadow kind of just sucks. That's true. Yeah, because we don't have a Witsith for Claymores, right? That's really what the problem is. Is a Mailflower better? Not in this team. Mailflower has more stats, but EM doesn't have linear scaling. It has like actual true diminishing returns. So when you have a lot of every stat, EM gets less valuable than the other ones. And this is a team that gets a lot of every stat. Because you have EM buff from Sucrose, EM buff from Beto, EM multiplier from Chi-Chi, attack percent from TTDS, attack percent from Noblesse, attack percent from TOM. Is SP worse? Is that Skyward Pride? You check C1. I'm not sure how exactly C1 changes the rotations, so it's dog shit though. Like the C1 is bad. The C1 is really bad. Because like I understand the intent behind the C1, right? Because the intent of Sandrone's design is you have a character where you have to manage overheat, where you want to do charge attacks as much as you can, and then you have to manage your overheat either by using your skill or swapping out or whatever, and you have a resource management minigame basically. And the C1 allows that minigame to be easier and to like be more trivial. But the problem is that it's already completely trivial at C0 because they forgot to make it matter. They made her E remove overheat too much and have too short of a cooldown. So the overheat just isn't actually gonna happen. like, overheating 50% slower doesn't do anything. Because when you overheat, all you have to do is do the E and then you can charge attack again. And it doesn't actually matter. Like, maybe you get one more beam out. Maybe two. Because you don't have to do the E as often. But, like, it's just not that meaningful. The only real meaningful thing is the 30 stellar damage bonus. But, like, you know, Yai's C1 is 50. That should put into perspective how relatively weak Sandrone's C1 is. Basically, Sandrone is Rumble with 150 heat max limit instead of 100 heat max limit, which was like the worst design change in the history of all time in League. Check Reddit. Yai application bricked again? Oh no. Oh no, what have I done? Okay, that's not as bricked as it was at the beginning. It's mildly bricked, but it's not completely bricked, right? Because you get it? The first set of 3 in this instance just doesn't have the field yet, so that one doesn't count. So the first one after that gets it, then the second one gets it, the third one doesn't. And then it just repeats that pattern of two that get it, one that doesn't. So she actually got nerfed, not buffed, right? That's what that means, right? Because we had 6, and this was not 50 already, this was 40. I had it wrong. So we're at 126k, and now we're at okay, it's still higher team DPS because Sandrone buffs happened. Speaking of which, I didn't put those here. 150.1. It was 148.13 before. No, even if it wasn't for that, it would still be a buff. Her stellar hit was always 50, was it? I thought it was 50 electro, 40 stellar. Okay, so I guess it was 40 electro, 50 stellar. Ah, I see. So it's actually DPS neutral without accounting for the Sandrone buffs. And a tiny buff if you do account for the Sandrone buffs. Because the C1 got buffed, right? Like, the IC0 got nerfed, but the C1 got buffed. And she ends up being basically the same unit. Does double electro fix that? Yeah, but you don't want to run double electro. You'll get a bit more stellar conduct damage out of Yai, but you'll also lose cryo resonance. And also you're forced to run electro units, which honestly just do less than the other options you can use for these teams. It's not a completely closed off possibility for the future if we get new electro units that work here. But yeah, I kind of like that though. Because I kind of like the idea that Yai, like team building that involves Yai, is a bit more reliant on reactions and the timing. Like, that's a good thing. One of the things I hated the most about Lunar Slop is how little elemental application mattered. And elemental application actually matters in these teams. Also, it might be possible to make this work. What I believe is happening here is you have your timeline. You see, I went back to how she worked in V1. It's not the same. It's different from V1. In V1, it was every other wave, every time. Yeah, so you have your first electro hit. And let me use 2 different colors for, like, the one that applies electro and the one that doesn't. So you have electro hit that applies electro. Then you have electro hit that doesn't twice. And then it just repeats. And then you have the stellar hit that's happening. You trigger the passive. You trigger the passive here. And it deals the extra damage, I think, on the first one of the next rotation, right? No, it only happens once you have the field. Wrong screen? No, not yet. It's fine. But yeah, so... Actually, no. I don't fucking know how this shit is working. I don't know, man. I don't know. Maybe she's doomed. Maybe there's nothing you can do about it. I mean, honestly, it's still not a nerf, right? Like, it's still just DPS neutral. So it's fine. Sure, it's neutral, not a nerf. It's a nerf at C0, but the C1 buff makes up for it, from what I looked at.
Goose on the loose!
Yeah.
Goose on the loose!
Goose on the loose!